Hello, welcome everyone to the first episode of YAM movie review. As you can see, I'm out here in the snow in my back garden. Had to take it right back to the early 2000s, draw for the Averex. If you don't know about this, you wasn't there. Back in the day, if you didn't have one of these, your life wasn't worth living, and I was a part of that hype. But anyway, I had to bring it out the cupboard now because it's freezing. I digress. Welcome to the first episode of YAM movie review. I saw the video yesterday, Panther Forever, and I was asking everyone for their opinion on the new Black Panther movie. Well, here it is. Here's a few reviews that you're gonna see from people who are either a part of YAM or maybe just affiliated with YAM or maybe just watch YAM. They're gonna be telling you finally a Christian perspective on the movie. The whole reason why YAM is here is because I was tired of hearing a secular perspective on the world. Tired of watching The Breakfast Club and not hearing a Christian perspective being brought to the show, only unless they brought in someone like Kirk Franklin, who never really held it down. So now here's a forum, here's a space for Christians to talk about life, and in this particular aspect, the movie Black Panther. So here we go. See you later.
Okay, so I'm going to give you some quick thoughts on the Black Panther movie, which everyone is talking about or not talking about. For me, it's a great movie. Love Marvel stuff, and I think it's been a long time coming. I think Blade was the first sort of black action hero for black people to really get behind and feel like we had a superhero. Having said that, Will Smith did do a film called Hancock, which I felt was a great film, but didn't really go any further than that. Anyway, getting back to the topic, Black Panther. Like I said, it was a great movie, well written by Ryan Coogler. And if you know anything about the comic book heroes, he changed quite a bit. There was some LGBT stuff in the actual comic, and he actually took that out and kept it straight, which I think was actually a great idea and probably went down well, and probably, hopefully, is not going to be a digression into part 2. I think people will get behind this, and people did get behind it because as a people, Afro-Caribbean, African-American people are quite lost in terms of leadership and who we can look up to. There's no heroes, there's nobody, you know? And with people more and more being woke, I think the whole thing of Jesus, white Jesus, and a lot of now people going back to worshipping the Egyptian religions and back to the old style, you know, African family worship, stuff like that. People are confused, and people kind of are looking for an answer and maybe not getting one. So Black Panther, in some way, if you don't know yourself, provides that answer. I'm married to an African lady, and I've been to South Africa, where she's from, many times. I know the culture, but that's just South African culture. Now, it just so happens that in this movie, they spoke Xhosa, which is the language, my wife's mother tongue. Within South Africa itself, there are, I think, 11 official languages and maybe 30 other. You know, Sotho, Zulu, Afrikaans, list goes on. And cultures vary. So within that, what we saw was a mishmash of what people may think is the African culture, but actually was a made-up pretty much culture, but based around some of the Xhosa tribe culture. But I believe other bits were added in, and even in terms of fashion as well. If you look at the people who done the fashion behind it, they looked across all the different countries in Africa and used a mashup of different designs. So it wasn't anything, basically it's specific to Wakanda, which doesn't exist, but not specific to any one place in Africa. And I think that's the danger, that if you don't know who you are, and if you don't know anything about Africa, because a lot of us that went to watch that film, I didn't go and watch it, I watched it. A lot of people that did go to watch that film and put on the dashikis and put on all of this stuff. A couple of months ago, would argue that they're not African. And even in their speech is very racist towards African people. And even in their thought process, right? But always will jump on the train or jump on the whole process of, yes, you know, let's go back to the motherland. But yet, their even perception of the motherland and some of the comments that I hear from people who say that they're conscious, very negative and very stupid, you know, don't even know that people, you know, that there's developed cities and stuff like that. So back to the movie, it was great that it gave people a sense of Africa being great, because it is. It doesn't take the film Black Panther to make us see that. However, if you don't know, you're going to jump on that. And hence now, leading into the worship, the worship of, what is it? The worship of the dead, yeah? Necrophilia, I think they call it. Talking to the ancestors, potions, shape-shifting, yeah? This is stuff that people will then take on as a part of their culture, believing that is that a part of our culture? Is that the part of the culture that I want to be? You know, people really want to belong to something. So it's very careful that, we have to be very careful that we do our research and we understand it's just a movie. Great action, wickedly written, but that's all it is. And people need to understand that and not take it any further. You know, do your research. It's very empowering for once to see black people at the on the flip side of things. You know, being the heroes and not the losers. But if you even watch the film, there's still a white savior in there. You know, but they will always do that. So, great film. Like anything, watch with caution. You know, watch with your eyes open. Don't soak it in an unconscious state and believe everything that's there. Do your research, because Wakanda doesn't exist. But there's a lot of, like I said, a bit of a mashup of different cultures from Africa put in there. And it was, like I said, a great idea. Great concept. It'd be interesting to see where number 2 goes, because now they know how they've got black people eating out the palm of their hands. It's quite a very dangerous place for black people, because we jump on things too quick. We follow leaders too quick, you know, and it's about time we actually led ourselves and stop looking to films, movies, people. Do your research, do your homework, yeah? Understand where you're coming from.